I have here is a Mossberg 590 special purpose pump action shotgun. Holds 9 rounds, and it's identical to the model that you can find on Mossberg's website, with just a couple differences that I'll point out right now. I'm coming from your left to your right. I have a aftermarket pistol grip shoulder stock here. I also opted for the ghost ring sights, which I'll talk about more just a little bit later, and then it also has the heat shield here for when the barrel heats up during a prolonged fire. So that's basically your Mossberg 590 special purpose shotgun. First and foremost, what I'll demonstrate here, just to show all the viewers, is the safety on the shotgun is actually located here, although it may be tough to see, at the top. And you simply move this lever in the up position, that exposes a red dot, and that means the firearm is live. So that's your safety for the Mossberg shotgun. Now, one of the first interesting points that I want to make here is that in order for an individual to be able to cycle the shotgun, if it's already in the bolt closed home position, which means that the slide here is all the way up, you cannot just pump it like you would see in the movies. There's actually something which they call an action lock lever, and it's difficult to see here because it's black, but I'll try to point it out here with a flashlight. And what you can see is there's this little knob that when you're right-handed, your thumb would actually be able to very quickly come up underneath of that. And what that does is that allows the operator to come back in here, and when this is depressed in the upper position, now it allows that slide or that pump actually to come back and then to go forward. And you can see that here from the other side, although I'll be using my right-hand thumb on it. If I push up on that, it allows it to open and it allows it to shut. And without my thumb being on that, that slide will, or that pump will no longer be able to cycle. So when I was younger, not growing up with firearms, I didn't realize that you had to be depressing this on a Mossberg in order to cycle the pump. Although it's very straightforward once you realize it, giving this to a new user, they wouldn't recognize that. The other way to be able to cycle that shotgun is actually to depress the trigger, have that firing pin come home, which then, during normal cycling would allow you to fire that. And I'll demonstrate that actually by loading. I have some snap caps here, the equivalent of plastic dummy rounds that simply, some people believe, protect their firing pin, but it'll allow me to show you. And here I'll demonstrate also loading of this. And you can see here from this plastic, they come up this tube here as such, and that continues to fill the tube all the way up there. And then what I'll do here is I'll depress that button and bring that round into there. I'll simply take it off the safety, and then you'll notice here that when it's fired, this little black dot will actually, or this thumb activated lever release will come up, and that allows you now that that's depressed, to take this, cycle that, bring your next one right there. So that's the first thing I wanted to note about the Mossberg 590 pump action shotgun. The next thing I wanted to demonstrate that I found to be particularly beneficial are the ghost ring sights here, and that is typically a lot of your shotguns will have just a bead, and what I did is I opted for a different barrel and a different rear sight. And I want to try to show the viewers at home, if possible here, if you bear with me, what that looks like through the front there. And you can see there's two what they call dog ears that kind of protect the rear side of it, and then there's a pretty pronounced orange front sight out here. And it's very easy, they call it ghost ring, because it literally is a very large ring as compared to your rifles, which have a very small dot for precision fire. Typically your shotguns are for close encounter. So as you're coming in and you're looking to catch, a target between a doorway or a stairwell, it's very easy to very quickly pick up on that target and be able to engage it. And of course the ears here at the back allow for protection if you were to drop the firearm or come into some contact that would allow that integrity of the rear sight picture. What else did I want to mention here? Not a whole lot else, except for the fact that two final mentions here. One, I prefer actually the pistol grip stock with the shoulder attachment here, because it allows, as a user, for me to be able to pull that pistol part, just like an AR-15, M16, those types of M4 rifles. They all have protruding pistol grip stocks, and that really helps the shooter pull that tight into their shoulder. If you ever hear people complain a lot about the recoil of 12 gauge, for instance, which this is shotgun, what you'll notice is they're not pulling it typically in tight to their shoulder, and so there's a gap here. And so when they're firing, it's actually slamming into their shoulder. And since this is not recoil operated, that is, you're providing the action to cycle it, your shoulder literally becomes, to one extent, that recoil pad or that buffer to keep the firearm from moving back. And so if you're not pulling it already in tight, it's going to produce a slamming motion into there. And I find that this pistol grip stock allows me, with my three remaining fingers on my fist, to pull that in good and tight. And the other point that you can use as a way to combat that recoil is to lean into it, what I call a forward aggressive lean. And so when you're firing, if you're already back, it's going to throw you even farther back. But if you try to meet force with force in one aspect, you get that good aggressive lean in there as you're looking to engage that next target. You'll find out that recoil is not nearly as effective as a user as if you're very commonplace and sitting back. And shotguns, in particular, mentioned, especially pump action shotguns, are not delicate instruments, to say the very least. And that is what they'll call is they like to be worked smartly, as is a phrase. And so when you have something, you don't want to just gently bring that back and then bring it in. And when you've already engaged a target or you're working the action, you want to bring it all the way back and all the way up. And you don't really have to worry about hurting firearm. I mean, that's what it's built for. So when you come in, you're going to get that pop. You know what I mean? There's only one sound in the whole world that sounds like that, and that's that action slamming back and that action slamming forward. And it could also work as a deterrent depending on what situation you're in. But by working it smartly, pulling that in here, and using something like these ghost grip sights, I found it to be very effective for like a home defense type of purpose. So that's the Mossberg 590 special purpose 9-shot shotgun. Hopefully something you're interested in. You know a little bit more about it. So thank you.